In this week's Signal Emitted, the first release candidate, our Creator Spotlight, Game of the Week, and we have a double tip of the week. Welcome to Signal Emitted, your weekly news show for Godot related news. I'm Voylin, and we have a candidate. The progress at which Godot is going right now is fast, as last week we saw a new beta release, and this week we got our first release candidate for 4.6. Technically, it should be stable enough to port your existing projects over to the release candidate, but be certain to make copies and use version control, as things might still go sideways with undiscovered bugs. We are sitting at 80% completion right now for the 4.6 milestone, but looking at the previous releases, these last 10-20% can go very fast. Since this is a release candidate, there are only bug fixes included, and basically that's the same for the beta releases. Beta releases and release candidates have a feature freeze, so there is not really much to talk about except for things got fixed. And we're getting closer. Getting a release candidate is, however, great news, as the real release will most likely come very soon after the first release candidate got out. And for the 4.6 release, for this release, this might be coming towards the end of this month. So let's cross our fingers and hope that everything goes well on the development side of things. And what are you looking forward to the most from the features, like the new features and new stuff in the 4.6 release? Let me know in the comments below. And do you want to support the development of my video editor Godot and the videos which I make on this channel, such as this series that you're watching right now, Signal Emitted? You can through visiting my Ko-fi page and becoming one of these amazing people. Thank you so much for your support. Couldn't do it without you guys. And it's a fast one, so let's go over to our Creator Spotlight. And for this week I bring to you Nanotech Game Dev. If you're into developing real-time strategy games or you want to learn more about how to make them, then this is a creator which you really should check out, as he has a lot of content about it. For the past 5 months he has been working on a new series to build a real-time strategy game in Godot from scratch, with as goal to make a minimum viable project. If this sounds interesting to you, then be certain to check out his channel and subscribe. There will be a link in the description as usual. And then for our game of the week, I have a game for you with a nice interesting team, and it's a team that the Godot development team chose for the release candidate's header. Vital Shell is a single player top-down arena shooter in which you control mechs inspired by classic fantasy archetypes. Unlock powerful synergies with unique weapons, traits and abilities as you take on increasingly challenging waves of enemies in a shattered realm. This game has over 500 reviews, with 99% of them being positive. And like, this game got released like 7 days ago, like a week ago. The art style of this game is based on the PSX era look. If you like what you're seeing, then be certain to go to the Steam page, because there is a demo available and right now there is 20% off. So yeah, check it out, link in the description as usual. And let's go over to our tip of the week. And as I said before, we have 2 tips this week, because I found out kind of a lot of stuff whilst working on my video editor. First up, have you ever tried to set a value on a spin box or any other control node, but having that trigger their value changed signal, which is something you don't want to be triggered while setting the value? Then you can simply use set value no signal. Yeah, that will basically set the value without triggering the signal. It's as simple as that. It sounds simple, but I never knew that it actually was a function till this week. And I've been using the Godot editor for a long time. And another trick I learned this week was when working with foldable containers. Because you can add buttons like title bar buttons or other stuff, but printing its children count only prints out 0. And that is when I've discovered that getChildCount and getChild have a argument called includeInternal. And if you pass through for that argument, that gives you access to those hidden nodes of certain control nodes, allowing you to basically do whatever you want with them. And you can access like the title bar stuff that you add to foldable containers. It's something so simple, but reading the documentation properly, even from the functions you think you know, can reveal new secrets. Well, at least secrets to you. So yeah, those were 2 very small tips which are all control node based. I hope I can go more into the 3D node stuff and such later on, or 2D node stuff. But yeah, anyway, I hope you like them. And as always, if you have any tips to share with other people or with me, leave them down in the comments below. And as mentioned in the previous video in the comments section, episodes this year might be a little bit shorter if there's not enough news available. But I found a nice solution. if the episodes are too short, I'll just add an extra tip of the week for you all. Anyway, I want to give a quick shout out to all my coffee supporters. Thank you very much for supporting both Gozen and the videos that I make. And if you want to stay up to date with Godot related news, press subscribe because it's a weekly news series. And I'll see you all next week. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.